Hello. Last time we were together for our Making Meaning lesson, we read a book called The Moon. Do you remember anything from that book? Did you remember it was nonfiction? Do you have any wonderings about the moon? I'm going to read this book one more time, pretty quickly this time. And then we're going to go back and we're going to look at some of the special things that we can find in nonfiction books. So, this book again was called The Moon by Martha Rusted. Excuse me while I sneeze. Can you tell allergy season's acting up? I don't know about you, but I'm getting kind of miserable. Now, there is our table of contents. So, if I want to find out about a shining light, I go to page 5. If I want to go and find out where I can read more information about the moon, I would go to page 23. If I want to know about some internet sites, that information is also on page 23. So the table of contents is there to help us find our way around the book quickly. A shining light. The moon shines high above Earth. It brightens the night sky. The moon is easy to find at night. Sometimes you can see the moon during the day. The moon reflects the sun's light to Earth. The sunlit part of the moon seems to glow. We're going to come back to that page in just a minute. Sometimes only part of the sunlit side of the moon faces Earth. Our view makes it seem like the moon changes shape. What is the moon? The moon is Earth's satellite. It moves around Earth once every 28 days. The same side of the moon always faces Earth. So here's the Earth, and remember we're spinning, and as we're going around, the moon is also going around us. Earth spins once each day. The moon looks like it moves from east to west as Earth spins. So there it's showing you it's coming around this way. The moon is much smaller than Earth. About 50 moons could fit inside Earth. It's a lot of moons. The moon's surface. Craters dot the moon. These holes make the moon's surface look rough. The moon is not like Earth. Gray dust and rocks cover the moon. The sky is always black. And then when we get to the end, there's the glossary. So it lists some words. So if I didn't know what a crater was, it tells me a hole made when objects crash into a planet or moon's surface. Satellite was one of those words I really wasn't sure of. An object that travels around another object in space. The moon is Earth's satellite. So some of the other planets have moons that travel around them, so that would be their satellites. Then if I wanted to read more, this would give me resources at the library. If I wanted to go on the internet, that gives me more information where I can find stuff on the internet. And finally, there is the index. So there again, that word craters, I'm going to find that on page 19. If I need to know about the surface of the moon, I'm going to also go to page 19. Now, one of the things that I really enjoy about reading nonfiction is looking at the diagrams. Now, a diagram is a picture that helps us understand the book just a little bit better. So if I just read this to you and said the moon reflects the sun's light to Earth, the sunlit part of the moon seems to glow. If I I didn't know a lot about space, I could not make that picture in my head. So the author of the book draws us a diagram to give us a good picture so that we can picture that. So here's the sun, all the light coming off the sun. It's shining on the moon, and then it's reflecting off, and then we see it here on Earth. Because some of you might already know that the moon does not make its own light. The moon reflects the light from the sun. So that diagram helped us out. Now, I went digging around in my basement to see if I could find some books, and I wasn't able to find a one with the moon that gave us a good diagram, but I did find a really good picture that has labels on it. So this was talking about the man on the moon. So if you were going to travel to the moon, you might need a suit that looks like that. So they labeled it. You're going to need boots, gloves, a temperature and oxygen control because you have to breathe. You can't be too hot or too warm. A visor. There's lights up there, your helmet, and a TV camera. That's how they got the pictures back to us on Earth. So there it shows somebody walking on the moon, and it's labeled parts of their equipment that they would need. Now, if you're like me and enjoy learning about space and the solar system, this one here gave me an awesome diagram of the solar system. So obviously this is what the sun. Then we have Mercury, way too hot for people. Venus. Then right there is Earth. We are the third planet from the sun. Mars, they usually call that the red planet. Jupiter, that has a big spot on it. Saturn has rings around it. Uranus and Neptune. And if you're a big space buff, you might be saying, well, what about Pluto? Well, it depends. Some books say that Pluto is part of the solar system, and some scientists are saying that Pluto is actually not a planet. So that would give you something to research if you want. So remember, the next time you have wonderings about the moon or space, you can find books, use the diagrams and the labels to help you, or go on the internet now that you have time and see what you can find. Next week, we're going to do some writing about the moon. So some of that stuff you learned just might come in handy for your writing. I miss you to the moon and back. See you later.